we'll hear from the Department of Children and Family Services. Good morning and welcome. Hold on. Let me get...
Walters, there you go. I'm Marketa Garner Walters. I'm your secretary for the Department of Children and Family Services. And I say your secretary because I hold this job as a sacred trust with you that we do this work together. DCFS meets families in crisis, and if your life is going beautifully, you're never going to run into us or know much about us. So I want to tell you a little bit about that, but first I would be remiss if I did not share with you that your chairman is a recipient of one of our awards that we give, the Russell Long Award, in recognition for his work with child support enforcement. That is one of the types of bills you will hear from us. We will come before this committee for child support bills, for changes to the Children's Code, and for adoption legislation. So those will be the primary bodies of work that we will be bringing to you. We have given you a white packet. It has a snapshot of who we are. This piece is just data. It just tells you some quick numbers about the different kinds of work we do, and then behind it is regional data, so you can see in your region what the bodies of work that we do in child support and family support would look like. On the other side, you have a list of our executive staff members. You will find that we are extremely responsive. You will know my legislative liaisons, Chip Coulter and Makisha Judson. You will see them all over the building. They are unbelievably attentive to you, and you will never have a worry about getting something from them when you ask them for help. Behind that is some information that is by your district. So the data behind this piece is regional, but the data behind the staff list is to your specific district, and it talks to you about a monthly amount of the people in your district that are served by SNAP, which is the former food stamp supplemental nutrition program. And it tells you about the retailers and the amount of money that flows through your district by retailers that accept this SNAP benefit. So we've also given you just a real, I called that, we try so often to say what we do quickly, and it's really hard because the work we do is complicated. So we've tried to give you as quick of a snapshot as we can, but there is plenty more where this came from if you are ever interested to learn more about our work. Our mission is to keep children safe. That's our child welfare part, where foster care, child abuse investigation, adoption lives, helping families, individuals become self-sufficient. That's where we have the SNAP program, the child support program, TANF programs, FITAP individual assistance programs, and then providing safe refuge during a disaster. For those of you that I have not met with yet who are new, many of you I have. For those of you that have worked with us before, you know that DCFS has a significant role in emergency response. Should there be a flood or a hurricane or a tornado or a coronavirus that comes our way, we have a huge role because we are the agency that shelters people. So when a state-run shelter has to open, that is DCFS staff, and I'll chat about that in a minute. Very quickly, so the department, we kind of lay it out for you in those three buckets of work: the child welfare work, the family support work, and the emergency response. On page 3 of your little PowerPoint, it shows the continuum of care in child welfare. We begin at intake with a phone call and go all the way through to adoption services. There are several slides there about those bodies of work. I would call your attention to the top of page 5, the truth. The truth about child welfare is this is very complicated, and it is covered in confidentiality. So when you come to me or to Chip and Makisha about a case and say, I've got a constituent, and they're telling me that you came and took their kids, and this is an upstanding member of my community, and I know there is no way on God's green earth that this man would have hurt his children, I am not going to be able to tell you. And trust me, you are not going to want to know what he did that made us take the child. I will tell you as much as I can. My legal team will shudder and look at me like this because they think I always take a step too far in that regard. But I will tell you as much as I can about a case, but I cannot tell you case specifics because that's confidential to that family, and I won't break that trust. But I will tell you as much as I can so that I can help you understand we never take a child lightly. We're an agency that is kind of, excuse my language, damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because if we don't take a child, you're going to say, how did you leave them there? And if we do, you're going to say, why did you remove them? And so it's a constant battle of walking a tightrope of, is a child safe? Is a child at imminent risk? Can we keep a child safely in this home? And how do we wrap services around them to make that happen? So it's tough. And it takes human beings to do that work. You cannot automate child welfare. You cannot send robots in to do this work. So it takes a lot of people. They need expertise and time on the job to learn that job. As we move to the family support side, we've done great automation on that side and decreased the number of staff we've had in those roles. So we're down now to what is probably not quite right of a number. We probably need a few more people there, but we're doing really well with new technology, and we are right in the middle of rolling out even better technology to serve this. This is our call center where people that have a SNAP case or a child support case can call or go online to register for SNAP benefits or to learn about their child support case. It used to be that you had to have a DCFS office in every parish because you had to wait in line to get food stamps. If you wanted to go apply, you had to go to the office and wait in line. That is now an automated process and online, and so it reduced the number of staff that we have across the state by 1,000 people, and it reduced the number of offices. We now have 26 parishes where we do not have an office of any kind. That's a conversation for another day, whether that's an accurate number, but that's where we are right now. I would highlight on the top of page 7, 65% of the people that get SNAP benefits are children, elderly, and disabled. We have a very, very erroneous perception of people on food stamps in this state. And you are going to call me and tell me that you saw somebody with an expensive purse driving a big car buying steak, and you're not going to be happy on their food stamp card. We are not the food police, members. People get their benefits. They are entitled to use them to the extent that they have them. Food stamps is a federal program that we administer. We cannot change the rules in any way. We administer it exactly the way the federal government tells us to administer it. And that is their rule, and we are not going to go out and try to figure out who's buying what. I had a lovely conversation with one of our members not long ago about all the candy that people on food stamps buy. And I just had to think about what's in my buggy when I go to the grocery store around Easter. So we also, though, have a wonderful program about food stamps that I do want to call your attention to. This is a new bucket of, well, it's not a new bucket of money. It's new that Louisiana is accessing it in the way that we are. The SNAP feds, Food and Nutrition Service feds, have a program called SNAP Employment and Training. It is designed to put SNAP recipients to work and get them off the SNAP rolls. That money is eligible to any business, nonprofit, for-profit, any business that is training somebody on food stamps into employment. We have multiple programs across the state. When we walked in the door, we were doing none of this. By the end, so in our first year of our first term, we had about 6 programs up, and now we're walking into a second term with about 17 programs going and a waiting list of programs that we're going to be starting. So it's a reimbursement. It is not a match, but it is a reimbursement up to 50% of the expense that somebody might spend. So if you're training nursing students and your trainee happens to be on SNAP, 50% of the cost of training that student can be reimbursed to the business. We are set to sign a deal with our community and technical college system in about a month that will make this money available to the technical and college system across the state, which is going to be amazing. And then lastly, we have our emergency preparedness work. During the 16 flood, well, when our first year, we came in March, there was a flood in North Louisiana. Then in August, there was a flood down in this part of the state. And then at the end of the month, there were tornadoes. At the end of the term, there were tornadoes in New Orleans. And so we really covered the gambit. We also do the disaster food response after a disaster. So you will see us in sheltering, you will see us in emergency food response, and it is a big body of work, but it is a fair body of work because we are crisis managers. We help people when they are in need, whether they are trying to get child support and trying to put food on the table for their children, whether they are hungry and need to be fed, or whether they have had a tragedy in their home that a child needs to be safely sheltered somewhere else. So I thank you so much for this time, and I don't know if you have questions. I'm happy to answer them.
I'm going to ask the members to hold off on questions, so we'll have plenty of opportunity to ask y'all questions. And of course, please provide contact information, and I don't want to have a big freewheeling discussion that you might not be ready for. And also, I don't want to go. You did talk about SNAP benefits and whatnot, but some of the stuff was a little bit more tangential to our jurisdiction.
Yes.
Of course, it is interrelated with the collection of child support. But with that, I thank you very much for your time. And
Our
look forward
contact information is in your folder, so we look forward to helping you anytime.
we look forward to working with you.